So Trump actually talked about this earlier today. Here we go.
This is CNN breaking news.
All right, the breaking news this morning, major breaking news. Israel says it has launched an unprecedented attack on Iran, targeting the country's nuclear sites and top military leaders, and the operation very much ongoing. The Israel Defense Forces say
I would say it was successful, too. I mean, it seems like they killed a bunch of their leadership. Seemed massively successful.
200 fighter jets striking more than 100 targets so far across the country.
Shit.
And we just got new reaction from President Trump. We'll have much more on that in just a moment. Video shows explosions at one of the sites in northwest Iran.
God damn.
The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the attack struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear program and they would last, quote, as many days as it takes. Black plumes of smoke rose over Natanz. That's the site of Iran's main nuclear enrichment facility. The country's atomic energy agency says the attack there caused, quote, superficial damage. Iran State TV says the strikes killed several top military leaders and nuclear scientists, including 3 of the most powerful people in the country.
I mean, I would say that's extremely fucking effective. I would. I mean, that looks extremely fucking effective.
Commander of Iran's Revolutionary Guard, the country's highest-ranking military officer, and its former national security chief.
CNN's Kylie Atwood now reporting that the Trump administration is still hoping that nuclear talks with Iran will go ahead as planned this weekend in Oman.
I got a feeling that might not happen.
2 sources familiar with the matter. A U.S. official saying we still intend to have talks Sunday. And just this morning, President Trump is offering his first public reaction to this major escalation in the Middle East. CNN's Elena Treen joining us right now for the latest on that angle. Elena, what are you hearing from the White House right now?
Yeah, this is the first official response we have gotten from President Donald Trump this morning. Came in just moments ago. And I will note, just before I get into it, that this is a bit in contrast with what we have been hearing now from the White House and from the Trump administration, specifically from Secretary of State Marco Rubio, that the U.S. had no involvement whatsoever in these strikes. So the statement from him, he posted this on his Truth Social website. He said that he gave Iran chance after chance to try and make this deal, but that they couldn't get it done. He said that he warned them of the manpower that both the United States and Israel has, and that those took a hardline position during these negotiations in Iran over a potential nuclear deal are, quote, all dead now. And then he said,
so basically everybody who wouldn't negotiate with him is just conveniently dead. Yeah, I've got a pretty good feeling that Trump knew this was going to happen. Part of the deal.
Just a dream. There has already been great death and destruction, but there is still time to make this slaughter, with the next already planned attacks being even more brutal, come to an end. Iran must make a deal before there is nothing left and save what was once known as the Iranian Empire. No more death.
So that's what he's doing. Like, I feel like that's clearly what's going on. He's letting Israel bomb the fuck out of them, probably helping them with intelligence, giving them, you know, like stuff on the back end. But, and that's probably why they evacuated the U.S. embassies too. I feel like that's clearly, like, I mean, I don't know. I'm putting things together. Who knows how much of this is true, but it seems like that's the case. And, you know, again, it's basically him saying, you know, all right, well, if you guys don't want to, the last guys didn't want to work with us and they're dead now. Who wants to work with us now? I think that's clearly what's happening.
No more destruction. Just do it before it is too late.
Before it's no more death. Just do it before it's too late. God bless you all. Man. Holy shit.
Oh, Kate, you mentioned this, but Kylie,
actually disgusting. I mean, the thing is that, I mean, I don't want to see the U.S. directly involved, but I don't want Iran to have nuclear weapons. It's a fucking, it's a extremist theocracy. Like, I don't want an extremist totalitarian theocracy country to have like fucking nuclear weapons. Absolutely fucking not. Why would anybody want them to have nuclear? Yeah, I mean, like, of course. And I feel like what that one guy said is that, or that woman said is that, you know, everybody might not necessarily support this openly, But there's a lot of people that are glad that it's happening. And I think that she's right. I don't think anybody, and probably this includes Saudi Arabia, they probably don't want Iran to get nuclear weapons. They don't like Iran. Iran doesn't like them. Sure.
Reporting that they are still hoping to have
Saudis are celebrating
talks on Sunday in Oman. I will note that it is very hard to see that the Iranians are going to want to do that at this point. But from our conversations behind closed doors with some of these sources, they are saying that
Saudis hate Iran.
They can still move forward with a potential nuclear deal.
Why can Israel have it and not Iran? Because we're allied with Israel and not Iran. That's simple.
Do you want that to be the way to salvage all of this before more attacks
there it is.
begin to continue? And you kind of heard the president himself reiterate that. Now, a few things I also want to point out is that we did hear from Secretary of State Marco Rubio yesterday saying, again, that the U.S. had no involvement in this and that Israel believed that this action was necessary for self-defense. But we do know as well that Trump administration officials, people here at the White House, they were given aware and told to prepare.
Yeah, they knew this was going to happen.
Bracing for this yesterday when we saw those first strikes hit in Iran.
So either you're with me or you're dead? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's exactly like, I mean, do you remember whenever Trump was dealing with the Taliban? Or like whoever it was, that terrorist leader, and he said, if there's any problems, we're going to kill you and your whole family? Yeah, that's how he does things. Straight up. That's exactly it. Like, fuck around and find out politics. Yeah, you either deal with it or we're going to kill you. Like, I don't know what else you want me to say. And also, by the way, this is the way that this has been done for thousands of years. It's not like this is some kind of new, unique, crazy, unhinged policy. This is the way it's always been. This is how the world works. And so IDF accuses Iran of targeting Israeli civilians with the strike in Tel Aviv. The world cannot stay silent. So this is an image of all of the places that have been attacked by Iran. Wow. And what is this? Iranian state TV claims an Israeli fighter jet has been downed and the pilot detained. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. I can pull this up, but let's go ahead and get back to this video here, too. They hit an apartment building in Tel Aviv. I mean, I have to say, I'm not a big fan of Israel. I've said this many, many times. But this sure seems a lot more indiscriminate than what Israel did, right? Like, if I see all of these missiles everywhere, what are the odds that every single one of these missile strikes and every single one of these missile locations is being sent at a military base or at a military leader? What do you think the probability of that is? It's zero, right? And so, they're not. And so it's random. And so, when I think about this, and then Israel, it seems like they're not, and you look at the strikes that they're making and the people that they killed, and they just so happen to kill all of these different leaders, this seems like two different degrees of force here. You see one that seems like it's surgically focused on killing and taking out military personnel and military bases, and then you see the other one, which it seems like just carpet bombing the entire fucking place. And again, you have to keep this in mind. This is from the IDF. This is what they're saying. Oh, wow, what a surprise. The IDF is saying something that makes the IDF look like a victim. Of course, right? And it's important to keep that in mind. Let's think about that and be sure about that. But, I mean, I'm just giving my opinion on this, and I don't think it's crazy for me to say what I'm saying here. Whenever you look at the discrepancy and the disparity here, it's not crazy to say. It's propaganda. So, I mean, but to what degree is it propaganda? Is the image fake? Is the representation fake? Is the interpretation fake? Where is it propaganda? Is the whole thing Photoshop? Is it video game footage? You've got to be a little bit more specific whenever you say that it's propaganda.
And I also know when I reported this with Kylie as well.
I'm trying to be as accurate as I can be, okay, guys? Trying to do my best.
As these strikes were happening, that meeting, I would like to point out, was actually scheduled before Israel began its attack. They wanted to start to coordinate what the official U.S. response would be. So again, adding to the point that they kind of knew about this. Now, of course, I think the big picture here is that one, President Donald Trump has not kept quiet about his frustrations with Iran and for what he believes is a very slow pace in the progression of talks over a nuclear deal. Again, to reiterate, they still want to have those talks. They do not believe that this deal is not.
Yeah, and I think also, like, I mean, is this something that is America first? I mean, in a way, yes. In a way, no. Like, Iran having nuclear weapons is an existential threat, but it's primarily not an existential threat to the United States. It's primarily an existential threat to the Middle East and the people over there. That's directly their problem. Now, maybe abstractly it's our own, but, you know, them having nuclear weapons, let's be honest, does anybody think it's a good idea for Iran to have nuclear weapons? I don't fucking think so. I think it's bad. So, yeah, it's your problem later on. Yeah, nobody thinks this is a good thing. Everybody thinks this is bad. Not everybody, but I mean, pretty much everybody. The people that thought it was good, well, they were killed. And so that's it. And so I think that that's the reason why people are okay with it. And, you know, you look at it from that perspective, would you want